everyone's Catholic. But I spent a lot of time when I was being raised with this Catholic grandma. And she wouldn't so much teach me the Bible and all this stuff, or, I wasn't going to the best church with her, some would say. But my grandma, she really loved me. We would spend quality time together. We'd play catch together. She'd take me to these games. And out of all people, like humans who have ever been on earth, I love my grandma the most. And what happened was one day, me and her would call every 1 or 2 weeks. And, just to say hi and catch up and to make sure we're connecting. And I called her one day, and we're talking on the phone, and she basically said to me, she's like, "Zach, don't wait for me to call you, you have to call me." And because, she really likes talking to me, but for some reason she didn't always reach out, so I'd have to be the one who reached out. And I'd only call her once every 1 or 2 weeks, but after I called her this one time, let's say in the middle of the week, a day or two later, what she said came to my mind, and she was like, "Don't wait for me to call you, you call me." And I called my grandma, and when she picked up on the phone, what she was saying, it didn't make any sense. She was just speaking in gibberish, basically it sounded incoherent. And the phone got hung up, and I kept calling her, and it kept going to voicemail. And she's in an old folks home in Edmonton, and so I called the old folks home. And some nasty lady picked up the phone, and she was like, "We're serving dinner right now, call back later." But I knew something was up. I felt like, just call the cops, call the ambulance. And I didn't do it. I just kept calling the old folks home, and they eventually went and checked on my grandma. And it turns out my grandma actually had a stroke. And they went and brought her into the hospital, and I got a flight that day to the hospital. And what I was thinking about when I was going to see my grandma was, yes, we had lots of good times, but all the times I've ever been short with her or didn't treat her the way I had to be treated, in that moment when I realized that, she was about to go away from this planet, I really regretted all those smart remarks and anything that was just, that wasn't with love. I could be such a nice preacher on the street and do all these things, but if I don't have good relationships with the people around me, it's all in vain. And the people in my life, the family members that aren't saved, they don't need a preacher. They just need their son. They need their grandson just to be the best son that they could possibly be. And this grandma, I kept praying for her throughout this time, and we still had a good time. I'm just saying that I just reflected on certain moments in our life where I'm just like, man, I could have done a lot better in that situation. But for the most part, our relationship was good. And I kept praying for my grandma, and before this, I got her to get into the Psalms. She was listening to the Psalms. I just wanted the Lord to do something in her life, because I'm not sure, with Catholics, it's kind of it's difficult, you know what I mean? And I just kept praying for her and just explaining to her the gospel, and I was just praying that God would show me that she actually got saved. And so I went and saw her. And I didn't think she was going to make it through this. And I just kept sharing with her, basically, it's not about your own righteousness. It's not about your own goodness. It's not about what you've done, but you just have to trust in Jesus alone. And I ended up coming back, and then she got basically the news that she was going to be dying, pretty much. And she was on the phone, and she was I forgot exactly what she said, but she did not sound happy that she got that news. And but I'm like, Grandma, this is, if you've trusted in Jesus, you're about to go into something that's way better than this world. It's not about what you've done; it's about what Jesus did. And my grandma, she started to sing Amen, and this is something irregular for her. And I believe, even before this, I had a dream that she came to me in the dream, and she said, "Do you not think I'm a Christian because I lack self-control?" And so I might have been judging her based off of things in her life, but I think the Lord answered that prayer, and that I'll see her again. But basically, the purpose of me telling this story is I don't ever want to be in that situation again when someone's about to pass away, and I regret how I've ever been grumpy or mean to them. This life isn't about all these things. I didn't think about the co-op that she lived in when we grew up together, but I thought about these good memories we had together. I thought about all these times that, I wouldn't trade for the world. And so I just want us to And I want myself to just to love as much as possible and just to be at peace with everyone, because that's actually what matters in this life. So I hope you guys can learn from this. And honestly, when someone dies as a Christian, it's not as bitter. In the world, they have no hope, but, like everyone at this funeral, I'm not sure how many people there are Christian, but I have this strong confidence I'm going to see her again, and I don't have to worry, so I thank God for that. So, yeah, thank you.